It's a cover-up, and it's terrifying, and it should be terrifying to all Americans.
I see a shirt survived.
You were attacked.
Yes.
You were attacked by an energy weapon.
Yes, a directed energy weapon. If they're politicizing this, what else are they not telling the president? And that's scary.
In a shocking and highly revealing interview, a former CIA operative revealed just how ruthlessly the CIA has been suppressing any info about the directed energy weapons. This interview was released on X by investigative journalist and former Fox News correspondent Catherine Herridge. Now, in this video, I'm going to share some very interesting parts from this interview, and I can assure you by the end, you'll have a very different opinion about the so-called natural disasters that have taken place on U.S. soil in the last few years. And if you want to see the full interview, make sure to check out Catherine's X page. Now, we start things off with former CIA operative Alice, who was a victim of the Havana syndrome, and this is what she experienced.
It's a cover-up, and it's terrifying, and it should be terrifying to all Americans.
Now requiring the aid of a service dog, just a few years ago, this retired CIA officer handled national security missions, which remain classified to this day.
At that time, what was your portfolio?
I am not at liberty to share that.
Alice, an alias, is speaking out for the first time about debilitating injuries reported among hundreds of U.S. government personnel.
Now, the official name for the Havana syndrome is anomalous health incidents, or AHI, and unlike popular belief, American personnel have experienced this all over the world and not just in Cuba. In fact, Alice was nowhere near Cuba when she started feeling the effects of this mysterious illness.
I was serving in Africa, and I experienced an anomalous health incident in my home on a Saturday night, and I heard a weird noise. It was a really weird sound that I'll never forget it.
You were attacked.
Yes.
You were attacked by an energy weapon.
Yes, a directed energy weapon. My ear started hurting. I started having vertigo. The room was spinning. My head started pulsing. Like, it hurt so badly, and I had a ton of pain in my left ear. And my ears started ringing, and I thought I was going to pass out.
Now, her symptoms are pretty similar to the ones experienced by all those U.S. and Canadian officials in Havana back in 2016. According to Wikipedia, common symptoms reported by the victims include a sudden onset associated with a perceived localized loud sound, followed by chronic symptoms that lasted for months, such as balance, dizziness, cognitive problems, insomnia, and headaches. And as for what kind of weapon might have been used for such an attack? Well, Alice has some theories about that too.
I felt it.
So what do you think the weapon looks like?
I think that there are probably multiple weapons. I think there are weapons that can be fit in backpacks, ones that can be fit in the trunks of cars, ones that can be planted at a position with line of sight to people from across the street.
Now the question is, why is this testimony from a CIA insider so important? Well, there are two reasons. The first one is the fact that a CIA operative is admitting the presence of such weapons. The second one is her testimony about how the agency actively tried to discredit her and all of the other intelligence operatives who believed they were attacked by a foreign adversary using a directed energy weapon.
Was the 2023 report a slap in the face?
Completely.
Was it demoralizing?
Yes.
Humiliating?
Yes.
Was it a betrayal after you pledged to serve your country?
Yes.
Now, the 2023 report mentioned here has recently come under some serious scrutiny after the Congressional Subcommittee gave a very bad review about it. The subcommittee, led by Chairman Rick Crawford, has released their own findings in which they said, in March 2023, the National Intelligence Council issued an intelligence community assessment titled Updated Assessment of Anomalous Health Incidents, which found that it is very unlikely a foreign adversary is responsible for the reported AHIs. However, the subcommittee has uncovered evidence that the ICA lacked analytic integrity and was highly irregular in its formulation. It appears increasingly likely, and the chairman is convinced, that a foreign adversary is behind some AHIs. The intelligence community has attempted to thwart the subcommittee's investigative efforts to uncover the truth at every turn. So basically, the subcommittee is certain that the intelligence community is trying to stop anyone from learning the truth about these anomalous health incidents. The report further goes on to say that the subcommittee concludes there must be something IC leadership has sought to prevent Congress from discovering. Well, I wonder what exactly they don't want us to discover. Could it be the fact that we have known about these directed energy weapons since the 90s? Because according to this unclassified NSA document, the National Security Agency confirms that there is intelligence information from 2012 associating the hostile country to which Mr. Beck traveled in the late 1990s with a high-powered microwave system weapon that may have the ability to weaken, intimidate, or kill an enemy over time and without leaving evidence. The 2012 intelligence information indicated that this weapon is designed to bathe a target's living quarters in microwaves, causing numerous physical effects, including a damaged nervous system. And I already showed you in a previous video how our very own Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld, confirmed the development of such weapons in the early 2000s.
Can I ask you a question about some of the technology that you're developing to fight the war on terror, specifically directed energy and high-powered microwave technology? When do you envision that you can weaponize that type of technology?
It is in, for the most part, the kinds of things you're talking about are in varying early stages. Do you want to give anything you'd add?
I don't think I would add much. I think they are in early stages and probably not ready for employment at this point.
In the normal order of things, when you invest in research and development and begin a developmental project, you don't have any intention or expectations that one would use it. On the other hand, the real world intervenes from time to time, and you reach in there and take something out that is still in a developmental stage, and you might use it. So your question is not answerable. It depends on what happens in the future and how well things move along the track and whether or not someone feels it's appropriate to reach into a development stage and see if something might be useful, as was the case with the unmanned aerial vehicles.
In fact, the man even campaigned for putting more money into developing these high-tech weapons.
Preparing, and let there be no doubt but that they are. These attacks will grow vastly more deadly than those we suffered several months ago.
So maybe, and this is just a guess, the intelligence community is stopping Congress from asking too many questions about the Havana syndrome because Congress might find out more about our own weapons. And if the public finds out that we have these extremely dangerous weapons in our arsenal, those so-called conspiracy theories about the Lahaina Maui fires would start looking even more plausible. And maybe that's why videos like this one are once again starting to circulate online.
I see a shirt survived.
How many people have seen this video from the Dr. Regenerated or the Improbable Dreamer? This one.
The powers that be are at work again. This was no wildfire. A wildfire that demolishes buildings, leaving trees standing, leaving restaurant umbrellas and trees untouched.
So this is what we're going to go after. These umbrellas right here. Got all the devastation right next to it, but we got these umbrellas and these trees. The trees we could justify. We could say, they're tall. People can make up all these excuses in their mind on how these two fit the equation. What you can't make an excuse for is the umbrellas. So are those really umbrellas? I mean, they look like umbrellas. So I found a video of someone flying a drone over there. Check it out. So there it is, guys. There's the umbrellas. There's the close-up, those are umbrellas. So here's the question. How could those umbrellas not be burned? Like, literally, how could these umbrellas not be burnt?
Okay, guys, it's Friday, August 11th, 2023, and I'm walking around Lahaina a couple days after this catastrophic fire, and you can see in front of...
You see the devastation? Now, how do you justify umbrellas? This should be The straw that breaks everybody's back. It's impossible. There's nothing you could tell me I don't want to hear at CNN. All these people. This is impossible. This is impossible. This is impossible. How does it exist, guys? How does it exist? We got to ask the question, and things like this are the signs that we need to do something about it. This is impossible. This means that they're lying. Their whole narrative's. This 100% couldn't be a fire with this symbol right here. It's impossible. You can't have the two. So what was it, guys? I don't know, guys, but we need to find out so we can get answers for our people, for our brothers and sisters out there who are suffering. Everybody thinks it's someone else's job. No, it's our job. We the people. We have to stand up. We got to be the change. Be the change you want to see, guys. Stay Nationals Rock.
I'm sure many of you have heard the theory that connects fireproof blue objects with directed energy weapons. In fact, we've even discussed it on previous videos, but if you haven't, you definitely need to see this video.
Did you know there's a hidden secret about the color blue that scientists don't want you to know? Blue objects appear blue because they reflect blue light and absorb all other colors. But here's where it gets interesting. Lasers work by focusing a lot of energy into a specific color of light. If an object doesn't absorb much energy at that color, it's less likely to heat up and burn. So blue objects, which reflect blue light, don't absorb much energy from blue lasers. They're practically laser-proof. And here's the conspiracy. Have you noticed that many roofs in China are being painted blue? It seems that Chinese residents are being told something we aren't. Will these blue roofs prevent houses from being burned down by laser? Could it be that they know something we don't? Are they preparing for a future where lasers play a crucial role? Join the conversation. Why is China painting their roofs blue? What do they know about?
Is it just a coincidence that these intelligence whistleblowers all say a foreign adversary is using directed energy weapons against U.S. personnel, and one such adversary has been painting their own roofs blue? Now, going back to that bombshell interview, here's exactly how these weapons can destroy someone's life, even if they're not used to burn down forests or take down drones.
Alice's injuries are so debilitating, she needed multiple breaks during our interview. At times, she wore dark glasses to blunt the studio lights.
Is it a struggle every day?
Yes. I never thought I'd be retired in my 40s.
Medically retired.
Yeah.
And what do you think the CIA does when one of their own suffers a debilitating injury while serving? Well, here's another report from the bipartisan Senate committee that shows how callous these intelligence agencies can be. Many AHI reporters experienced delayed, denied, or preconditioned care. For example, some AHI reporters experienced long wait times to access facilitated treatment options. They were also denied facilitated care by a CIA care adjudication board, perceived that their access to facilitated medical care was contingent on their willingness to participate in an NIH clinical research study, felt undue pressure to provide their medical records to the CIA in order to gain access to facilitated medical care, and were resistant because they feared the agency would weaponize their information or try to use the records to discredit their AHI reports, such as by pinning their AHI experience on a minor pre-existing condition. And they felt that the CIA tried to discourage them from seeking facilitated care, particularly as the CIA's organizational position on AHIs evolved. As you can see, this report also backs claims made by Alice in that interview. Basically, the CIA tried everything they could to change the narrative and silence these victims. And when these whistleblowers didn't back down, they weren't given the necessary medical care on time. And that doesn't surprise me at all, because when Edward Snowden told us how the NSA stole our freedom instead of giving him a medal, this is what people like Mitch McConnell said.
In response to the leaks of sensitive classified information, the Director of National Intelligence has declassified a good deal of information to the public to explain the programs in question. What is clear from this information released by the DNI is that each of these programs is authorized by law, overseen by Congress and the courts, and subject to ongoing and rigorous oversight. Given the scope of these programs, it's understandable that many would be concerned about issues related to privacy. But what's difficult to understand is the motivation of someone who would intentionally seek to warn our nation's enemies of the lawful programs created to protect the American people. And I hope that he is prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Now, I would love to know what you think about this interview. Do you think it was a foreign adversary using those weapons, or do you think it was an inside job? Please share your thoughts with everyone in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.